Hello, everybody. Today I'm going to do a devotional, but next week we're going to be seeing some new faces, some different faces. Um, so I just got to give you some backstory to this real quick. A lot of you probably know that long time ago, Israel, this nation, was enslaved for hundreds of years, and then God miraculously brought them out. And then they wandered the desert for a very long time. Moses was leading them, and so they had this time where they were kind of like we are, isolated, except they were in the wilderness, depending on survival in the desert by a lot of different means. We're hopefully pretty comfortable in our homes and doing whatever we're doing, playing video games or raiding the cabinets and stuff like that. And but it's still there's some still some parallels to the story. And so God was bringing them out of this. They weren't going to be there forever. We're not going to be here forever. But then we get to Deuteronomy chapter 8. Moses sits them all down and he goes on this long spiel about what they need to be doing because they're finally getting to the promised land, this place that God told them they were going to get. And Moses sits them down, and Deuteronomy literally means the second giving of the law. And so he's reminding them of everything. And this is what he gets to in chapter 8. He's in the middle of this whole thing. Verses 10 and 11. He says, "When you have eaten your fill, be sure to praise the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. But that is the time to be careful. Beware that in your plenty you do not forget the Lord your God and disobey his commands, regulations, and decrees that I, Moses, am giving you today." So, what have you been doing during this quarantine time? Have you been taking advantage of it spiritually, or have you just been letting that go by the wayside? Hopefully, you've been taking advantage. But when this is done, when God takes us out of this time, when we finally back to the good parts of life that we miss, be careful. And I'm telling you this now, and like Moses had to give the law and everything like that again, I may have to remind you, or someone may have to remind you, you may have to remind yourself, be careful when you start experiencing all the good things again. Don't forget God. So, first, take advantage of this time and grow in Him. And then, second, grow in a way where you're not just going to leave Him after this is done. So, that is a challenge for today. And I hope you guys have been encouraged even during this whole time. We love you and we're praying for you. So, here are your tasks today and for this weekend. For prayer, let's do some confession. Um, we haven't had that as a prayer focus yet, and I think that's a big piece of prayer that we can't neglect. So think about attitudes and actions that are not godly, that are getting in the way of Him, and confess that, or ask God to search you and find out those things. And then for Bible reading, read Philippians this weekend, or at least a chapter. Chapter 2 is awesome, chapter 4 is awesome. Um, well, the whole thing is, but read Philippians this weekend. And then to be creative, or no, sorry, first is productive. To be productive today or this weekend, plant something. It could be a tree. That's always good for our world. It could be um, seeds of some kind, peppers, or maybe it's just a plant you even put in a little potted plant kind of deal. And then to be creative, paint some rocks. The best ones to find are like those round ones, smooth, and paint them. Maybe even hide them somewhere if you can. And then finally, to be active, go for a bike ride. If you don't have a bike, then go for a run. Even if you hate running, which I do, then just go for a little run, just one time this weekend. All right, there are your tasks. So go do them, everybody.